Hi everyone, my name is Steph, this is the Novelty Corner and welcome back to my channel and welcome to my May reset video. This month is very much not going to have reset content because I'm struggling health-wise because recovering from COVID is a pain in the neck. I've literally just spent some time filming some other videos and I have not been able to get through 20 seconds of talking without coughing, so we're going to see how we go. But anyway, I've got plans for May and I'm really excited about them. Again, I'm going to keep it fairly low-key. I'm finding that low-key works best for me because I'm still trying to tackle all of the bingo board challenges plus my own challenges that I've set for myself, and it's working really well because I'm getting through a whole lot of things. I also want to leave enough time and space to do more vlogs and vlog style content, which I'm really enjoying at the moment, particularly things like reading until I get a 5-star or, try chapter tags and things like that to help me whittle down a lot of the digital content that I have. And so by not overfilling my TBR, it means that I leave enough space for me to explore other things. All that said, I'm filming this on the 27th of April, so April is not yet done yet, and I will probably read a stack more books before the end of April. So when I go through the stats, beware that's from the 27th of April. So I'm not going to really count these as my final stats just yet, but I'll share them here anyway so that you guys get a sense. So far, I have read 75 books in April. That includes picture books, novels, novellas, poetry collections, short stories, you name it. There's a lot of things that go into 75 books. Collectively, that equates to 13,313 pages, which that's a really nice number at this time of the month. It's not going to stay that way, but for this video, that is a really fun number to say. And also 3 rereads. So this is the month of 3, apparently. And while I was going through my TBR bingo board from hell, as of the 27th, this is how it all looks. So I have read 5 more audiobooks taking me to 29. I need to get to 36 before I get another star. I read 5 more books off my physical TBR taking me to a total of 28, which means my percentage is at 25%. I'm aiming to read 50% of that TBR, so I'm already halfway there, and hopefully I can then continue that throughout the year. I had 3 more rereads taking me to a total of 23. I need 1 more before I hit my 24, and then I get a star for that square. I have read 18 middle fiction titles. My target goal for that was 12, so I have 6 more until I hit 24 and get my second star. For my read 80% of my set TBR each month, I actually hit this month. I had 3 DNFs and I read everything else. So there was, I think it was 10 books that I read. So that has been completed, another star for that. I also read 5 more series on my series to finish in 2024, taking me to a total of 8 series finished. Those series included Enemy of This State by Tal Bauer, Desert Rose, Hookups by Mika James, the Saint of Steel series by T. Kingfisher, Alcott Hall by Emily Rath, and also the Weiler series by Jordan Gould and Richard Pritchard. I read 3 more non-fiction titles, taking my total to 13. My goal was 9, so I'm well past that now, and I am 5 away from a second star. I did have another friend choose my TBR this month, which I completed, so thank you to Tracy. So now I get my second star for that square, and I have read 1 of my NetGalley arcs and I have 1 left to go for my clearing my NetGalley shelf, which is excellent. In terms of priority reads for next month, I don't have a huge number. Again, like I said, I'm trying to keep this fairly casual. One thing I would like to try and read, because it is May and we will have May the 4th, and May the 4th falls on a weekend this year, is I would like to try and finally read from a certain point of view, Return of the Jedi, which is the 3rd book in the 40-year anniversary series collection of short stories from the perspective of side characters from Return of the Jedi. All right, then we come to review copies. I currently have 4 things that I haven't read yet for April, and if I don't get to them in the next week, they'll form part of my May TBR to read sooner rather than later. So the first one is Brave Kāhu and the Pōrangi Magpie. This is by Shelley Burne-Field. This has been published by Allen and Unwin New Zealand, so it's a New Zealand middle fiction story. I'm really excited to try it. I think it's going to be great, especially because I think it is New Zealand First Nations story. I also have the latest Smarty Pup book by Anh Doh. This is book 4, Talent Quest. I'm really hoping I read this next week, but if not, it's going straight on to the first books I'll read in May. This series is super fun and really great. It's a kind of that bridging between junior fiction and middle fiction because it's a longer text, but it is still very accessible for younger readers. Plus it's very visual. I was also sent Downstream by Annika Johansson, unsolicited, from Allen and Unwin, and I'm kind of intrigued by this. I really like this cover and the colors. It's very soothing and I would like to give it a go. So I'm going to put it on the TBR because that way I'm going to have to either read it or DNF it, but I would like to give it a red hot go. And this, look, this is going to be more lit fic, which is always hit or miss for me, but it is set in Australia, so I'm always willing to give those a go. And then finally, you would go, Steph, why haven't you read the picture book yet? It's because I've been reading everything else. So it is How to Measure the Ocean by Inda, Ahmad, Zahri. This is, I'm assuming, a narrative nonfiction about caring for the ocean. So I'm going to be reading this one and then it'll be going into school because this totally fits our inquiry unit for this term. And then the final review title I have is Barely Even Friends by Bennett. This is the last book that I have on my NetGalley TBR and it comes out on June the 4th. So I would like to read it just before then and then clear that NetGalley TBR. All right, then we come into my 4 other categories, ways that I choose my TBR each month. So we are getting down on TBR scratch cards. So let's mix them up. Oh, where did I put my coin? Okay. Let's get a coin out. Okay. What are we going to be annotating this month? Oh, this is a very shiny coin. This is from Romance Cartel. Okay. Ooh. Okay. This could work out well. It is Silver Silence, which is part of the Side Trinity series. So, Izzy, I know you were planning on starting this series this month. Let me know if you want to buddy read it, because I'm clearly going to be rereading it. Oh, I totally forgot about my Kindle Backlist project. So this is where I'm reading the oldest book on my KU TBR. For this month, that is Puppucino by Alison Temple. It is book 2 in the Bold Brew series, which is a collection of queer stories that center around a cafe. And it is an MM romance. I think it is potentially an age gap story, and I know that it involves dogs because it's called Puppucino. I have enjoyed various books in the series, so I'm just hoping to go through and sort of read the rest of them. Then we come to my Kindle Backlist, which is part of the Star Jar, and this is where I am, if you are not familiar with this, just trying to read through all of the books that are unread on my Kindle, and I don't know if you can tell, but that's a lot of them. Although that said, I've done a couple of videos where there could be a few things in here that I need to take out if I find them. Okay, let's go with the star. So I Married a Werewolf. Okay, it is by Kristen Strassel. Okay, So I Married a Werewolf, Kristen Strassel. I will be reading that this month, or attempting to read it. And then last but not least, we have my Rare Spinner Wheel, which there's going to be a video very soon that involves these books, but you know, we're getting a bit ahead of the curve this month. So, who am I going to be reading? Ooh, okay, Amy Adams. Pause, please. That was a bit of a workout. They were right at the back of the cupboard. I have two Amy Andrews books. There is Playing It Safe and Playing by Her Rules. These are both part of her Sydney Smoke series, which is a rugby series. So these are going on the TBR. And that, my friends, is my TBR for May. And I'm leaving myself very, very open to read other things and mood read to my heart's content, because that is working very effectively for me at the moment. As always, there are a stack of children's titles that I will be reading during the month for Kid Lit Joy. I'm also planning on reading through the CBCA shortlist for this year, so that is a lot of picture books and some junior and middle fiction titles. So stay tuned, you'll probably hear more about those as the next couple of months progress. But I haven't got plans for which order I'm reading them in, so that's why I don't set them in particular TBRs, because it depends on when I get them available to me. All right, so that is it from me. I will have footage of my filming schedule and also the setup of my reading journal down below. I don't know if I'll get time to film my Hobonichi setup for the month, just because it's a bit hectic this weekend. Like, this is a weekend where I have something on Friday night, Saturday and Sunday. So thank you for watching. In the comments, I'd love to know what's on your TBR for May. Are there books in my TBR that you have read before? Let me know your thoughts on them down below. Or is there something you want to see me review earlier in the month? Feel free to let me know that as well. I hope that wherever you're in the world, you're staying safe and healthy, and I will see you in my next video. Thanks so much for watching. Bye, everyone.